GST law. Well, it's been a year since GST has been implemented, and I remember the day on where at the stroke of midnight on 30th June 2017, the Prime Minister of India had rung the bell, and at 12 midnight, and GST was introduced and implemented in the country. उस बेल की गूंज आज तक सुनाई दे रही है. I think it will still take time to settle the way the things have been developing over the entire year. All professionals, the traders, the dealers, the manufacturers, the entire industry, the entire spectrum of people all across the country have been trying to understand the various intricacies in the GST law. Not only understanding the intricacies, apart from that, various suggestions have been given over a period of time to the GST Council, and various changes have been proactively made by the Modi government in the GST law. We can see that by the number of notifications, almost around 300 notifications in all have been introduced in the last year. So to say, almost a notification a day, or maybe something like that. But so many notifications, and now some major changes are also proposed in the GST law itself. Because you might recall that there are certain provisions which can be amended through notifications, and there are certain provisions which require amendment of the law itself, that is amending the GST Act, the CGST Act, the IGST Act, SGST Act, etc. And if these laws, the CGST Act or the IGST Act is to be amended, it has to go through the rigors of getting it passed through the Parliament, the Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, the President, and the consent of all the states. You might recall that this was the position when GST was actually introduced, and all the states had to give their consent for bringing in the provisions of the GST law. Well, similarly, certain amendments have been proposed in the GST law itself, and the same process is being followed by the government. And today the stage is that around 46 such amendments have been proposed in the GST law itself, and they have reached the stage where these 46 amendments have got the cabinet approval. They are on the floor of the Parliament, and the Lok Sabha has already passed these amendments. It will be a matter of time, maybe around 15 days to 1 month, before this proposed amendment, which is a bill as of now, would become a law. And it is again imperative for all of us to understand the intricacies and the nuances which are there in the proposed amendments. And let's begin with the subject proper. Next. One moment. Bring the page down. Yeah. So what I propose to deal with in the next hour or so is the proposed amendments to the GST law. In the law itself, there are certain changes in the returns due dates. There have been many changes during the year also for the GST return due dates, seeing the various technical glitches and the constant upgradation of the information technology system of the GST department. And certain due dates for the periods henceforth are also sought to be revised. We will see those dates. There's a note on simplified returns which has been proposed by the government, and we'll go through that. What are the proposals of the government on simplifying the returns and reducing the compliance burden of the taxpayers across the country. And a few notifications which have been released pursuant to the 28th GST Council meeting, and most of these notifications have become effective from the 27th day of July 2018. So we'll go through each of them. Well, friends, I know there could be various questions that may arise in your mind during the session. I would request you to kindly note down the same. You can also type your questions into the chat box. And Jill Shah is there with me. She'll be noting down all these questions, and at the end of the session, we will take up each of your questions also.